So I made a video talking about how the difference between art and craft is misogyny, and I probably could have worded it just a little bit better, because a lot of people have rightfully pointed out there are plenty of crafts that are male-dominated, things like leatherwork, stonemasonry. There are also a lot of people that feel the difference between craft and art is solely the functionality of the medium, and I see that argument too. So I should have said, wouldn't have been as good of a hook for a video, but I should have said, artistic mediums, when used in an artistic way, have historically been delineated as either craft or art, in large part due to misogyny. Now that's a fucking thesis. So yes, things like embroidery and quilting can be incredibly functional, but the issue comes with the fact that historically, no matter how intentionally artistic a woman was being with those crafts, no matter the technique used in the quilt or the poetic meaning behind the embroidery, in the eyes of art snobs, those mediums were still craft. Meanwhile, the male craftsman, a stonemason for example, if he was to pursue an education and be intentionally artistic with his craft, he would often no longer be called a craftsman, he would be a high artist, a sculptor, a carver. There was a glass ceiling on access to the word artist. Even mediums typically considered high art had subgenres considered too feminine to be deemed high art. Like in the world of painting, watercolor is a great example. It was looked down upon because it was often what hobbyists and women used to paint versus the oil paint taught in schools that only admitted men. And the gendering of things in art goes beyond specific mediums. So much of art history is so weirdly gendered in the Western canon to the point where groups as broad as color and line were assigned traits. Color being feminine and line being masculine. Another reason watercolors were denoted as a woman's medium, because watercolor was more likely to create bright compositions with softer lines. There were also some people that pointed out that racism and classism played a large part in the delineation between art and craft in this very Western understanding of art, because don't get it twisted, this is very Eurocentric thinking. And those people would, of course, be correct. Artists being able to make a name for themselves as artists without relying on critics, academies, and art galleries is a very new concept relatively. But yeah, to everyone who could state their claims and their counterclaims in an academic way, I appreciate you. You'd be surprised how many grown adults had emotional breakdowns in that comment section. I can officially add being told to shut the fuck up by a wannabe Christian poet to my resume because of that comment section. So, to those of you who could act normal, thank you.